Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you very much for joining me today for another card making video, and today we are using the Abundant Beauty decorative masks. So this is a new set of masks that were came through in the new mini catalogue that went live in September, and we've got a whole host of masks in here, and if I'm honest, I didn't actually anticipate everything in the pack. I knew that there was this houndstooth one and the sunflowers, but I didn't realise there was this one, which is really super cool. So I think you'll see something coming along using that. And then we've also got a snowflake one, which is amazing as well. So I love snowflakes. So I like the sparkling snowflake stamp set, but there's a mask as well. So thinking that we can make something groovy with that as well. And like I say, there's this houndstooth, so something a little bit more generic that we can use as a background and a backdrop to other things. So that's super cool. But I suppose the real sort of leading light in this is this set of 4. All comes in the same pack. These are all together in one item number, so you get quite a lot of value out of this set. So this is a set of 4 stencils, or masks I should say. There are numbers in the top corner just to help you figure out which order to do things in, and there is a notch at the top which I think might be helpful for positioning of some sort, but I don't know whether there's some more information about what exactly that notch is for, but I think it's to help with positioning and making sure that everything gets lined up, whether you can just put a pencil mark there or something. So we have these series of masks to do the petals, the leaves, and then the centres in a sort of 2-layered effect. Okay, so sorry if they're flashing on in the light. Okay, so I think they're designed to really be sunflowers, and that's how they've been portrayed in the catalogue. I'm just going to pop those over there, I think. And basically when you layer those up, you get this lovely floral design. Okay, so this one has used very traditional sort of autumnal colours. Okay, so the petals I've done it in Daffodil Delight and Wild Wheat, and the centre is Copper Clay and Early Espresso. The leaves are actually Shaded Spruce with a bit of Mossy Meadow coming through, just to sort of dial it down a little bit with the muted palette. Okay, use the coordinating Copper Clay ribbon there as well, and it's Early Espresso and Copper Clay on the sentiment. Okay, and we've got Copper Clay and Wild Wheat as the card base. Okay, so that really nice sort of golden and autumn tones coming through with this one. So as always, I like to spin things up a little bit, and whilst I think, like I said, these are designed to be sunflowers, I think we can get away with using them in different colourways. Okay, so we're going to push the envelope a little bit, and we're going to use different colours. Now, what I'm going to do is use the base of my Stamparatus as my assistant to get things all squared up. Okay, so I've got a piece of basic white cardstock here. This is just a little bit smaller than a full card base. So I just took an extra 1/8 of an inch off, just looking for some Stampin' Seal, because I just want to put a little dot of it on the top of this cardstock. And I'm going to line it up here. I've done a dry run with this, so I know that that's going to be thing, and this is all white clean, you see, so I can just use it to help me line this up. And because it's got this lovely square corner, it means I can pop my stencil in, a mask I should say, and pop the magnet on, and then that's going to keep everything really nice and secure. Okay, oh, don't want you to have all that glare on there really, to be honest, but Let's just see if just moving off to one side a little bit, it's just a little bit more helpful than, you know, so you can see where I'm actually working outside that shiny spot there. So we're going to completely pop the box and we're going to make some pink flowers. Okay, and I'm going to use Moody Mauve. So it was Wild Wheat as an ink colour. I need some scrap paper to take the ink off. Is it going to be easier if I do it? Yeah. Got some scrap grid paper here just to take off some of the ink on my brush. So we're going to get the brush nice and inked up, but we take off a lot of it. That looks wasteful, but I can assure you there's loads of ink in an ink pad. It's really not a lot at all. Okay, so I'm going to hold the brush towards the end of the handle, not up here, down here, and we're going to apply some pressure, and I'm starting the centre there. I haven't even touched the paper really yet, and just circles outwards. Okay, and you will see that, hopefully you can see that you get dark and light portions just coming through just with a single colour. Okay, and we're not going to overdo it. I don't want this to be too heavy, and I'm not going to re-ink the brush. I'm just going to go again, work my way out to the end. I want to try not to catch the other images on the stencil really, but it's not going to matter too much for this design. So I'm going to resist going over that too many times. I need to keep this stencil in place because I want to add in a little bit of shading, and I'm going to do that with Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to use one of the smaller brushes for this. So again, just as I did before, we're going to ink the brush up. Okay, start in the centre and work out, but we're not going to go all the way out to the edge. We just want to put in a little bit of darkness around the centre of the flower. Okay, now this one, there isn't, it's not one of the, it's got a drier ink pad, so I'm just going to re-ink that in between. There is some darkness coming in across these petals, across here, so I'm just going to pop a little bit more over here just to balance it out a little bit, and we'll pop a little more on this one. I think we need some more ink. So these smaller brushes just allow you to get into those smaller areas. Okay, so we've now got these lovely pink flowers. Okay, so we can remove this mask now. I'm going to pop this magnet off to one side, and I can lift that off and we'll see the real effect. Gorgeous, really great combination. The masks will wipe clean, so I find that, you know, like something like you know, one of those sort of chamois wipes and things. So if you don't want to use your stamping chamois, these sort of car chamois are really good. And then just wipe away the excess moisture, and then that's mostly clean, and it can be cleaned off properly in a sink when you're done with all your making for the day. So the little bit of glue I've put on the back of that just keeps that in line, but I've just lined it up with one of the lines on here, so we can line it up anyway. So we're going to bring up the next mask, put this into the corner here to do our leaves, and pop our magnet on. So our green combo for this is going to be Old Olive to start off with. I'm trying to decide if this is going to be more of a dark green than a... So I've got a dark green and a light green brush, and I think Old Olive might be sort of somewhere in the middle. So I'm just taking off some of the excess ink on my dark brush there, and because we don't want that to carry over. So just like I did before, just taking off that excess ink, starting off onto the on the side there and bringing that across to the end. So you're naturally going to get a little bit of shading anyway, and again I'm going to start up here and work my way down. So it is important to clean your mask off in between projects, because your ink will carry through. It stays wet on here, so you will pick it up the next time you use it on your project. And then I'm going to bring in the Mossy Meadow. This is I'm going to bring in this is a new brush, so I'm just going to make sure that that's going to give me a nice smooth blend by making sure it's well inked. Okay, and again we'll start off the page and we'll bring that in. So it's just I just wanted to dull down the old olive a little bit, make it a bit more antique-y looking and sort of cooler, because I'm using cool colours for the flowers. I've got blending brushes everywhere at the moment, so I've been doing loads of work with blending brushes. I like them anyway, but like I say, at the moment I'm just finding them really, really useful. Okay, so again we can just give that a quick wipe off. I just don't want that to dry in between, so just getting the worst of that ink off so that we can clean it off properly later. It's looking so beautiful, really, really beautiful. So I had a bit of a, don't know what colour I want the centres to be. So in fact, actually, do you know what? My mind has literally just twigged. Possibly, I'm thinking I might need crumb cake, and I can't actually see crumb cake in. Oh, there it is. It's because the sticker's faded, that's why. Crumb cake might be a good option for my light colour. Okay, so again, I'm going to bring in one of my brushes that's for my brown inks. Okay, I do find that you get the more these get used and sort of seasoned, they just work phenomenally well. Again, I'm going round on the plastic and then coming in, out on the plastic and coming in, and sort of going in and out like that. Obviously the smaller ones aren't quite as critical. You're not going to see as there isn't as much room to get that sort of blended colour. Okay, so that just gives us that nice base for those. And then we've got this one that adds in those little bits of detail. Okay, so again we can use this. And then I think it's going to have to be early espresso in the centre there. I think, whoops, jumbling around all my inks as well. So again, we'll bring in one of my smaller brushes, the early espresso. I want this nice and dark, so I'm going to hold this one closer, push down on that brush head to make sure we get all that really nice intense colour. Oh, I hope that hasn't been too glary for you all, sorry. so I wanted to make sure that that's nice and dark. If you want to, and you think you may have overdone that and there's too much contrast and you want to darken the centre, you could always put the other mask back on and go over it again if you wanted to, but I'm going to leave that as it is. That looks amazing. Love it. Okay, love it, love it, love it. So I think I don't need to tell you the combinations that we can do with that now. So if we stick with the in colour kind of thing, this will just wipe off. Look, this is just great. So if you are one of the lucky people who's got a Stamparatus, it's got lots of uses. I shan't be parting with mine. Sticking with the in colour theme, so if we used boho blue, and you could easily bring in some starry sky or some lighted navy on that, and that would look phenomenal, I think, as well. So loads and loads of colour options as always with SU. So that's what we used to make this one. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And so I'd already cut down the layer and I knew where it was going to be, so I don't need to trim this. If you wanted to, you could start off with a 6x6 and then trim it down. If you're in America, the US or North America or whatever, and you use your 8.5x11 half fold cards, you can probably get some nice layering out of some of the dies as well. So they are sized to fit American A2 cards. Okay, and that's Blackberry Bliss that I framed that on. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous, gorgeous. And then I'm going to bring in the matching Moody Mauve in colour ribbon. I feel like I'm a bit far away. You okay? Okay. So this is quite a textured ribbon. It kind of makes it look like it's shiny. It's not really shiny, it's just the light sort of glaring off it. Okay, so we want a bit that's going to wrap around, and then we're going to need a bit that's about twice that to make sure we've got enough to tie like a bow of some kind. You get absolutely loads of ribbon on those reels, and it will retire with the colour, so make sure you get that used up. And I want this to sit where it's not really going to interfere too much with the rest of the design. So I'm just popping just a little bit, almost called it snail then, seal on the card there, just to secure that on the front where I want it. And then we can flip that over, just run a bit on the back there, and then we can just wrap that round from the front. And just adds a bit of texture to what is otherwise a very flat card at the moment. I mean, you can totally do a one layer card with this, you know, so there's plenty of opportunity just to sort of pop in a sentiment if you don't tilt it higher and leave a space or whatever. So there's loads of options for a single layer card as well. I'm going to pop more seal across the back here, and then we're going to use Moody Mauve as our card base, bring it all together. Absolutely loving this combination. This just looks absolutely stunning, absolutely stunning. Right, give that a good sharp crease so it stands. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, so we're going to prep. I know there's glue in the middle there, so I did that every time when I made the one of the other. I was like, why won't it go through? It's because it's got the snails there already. Okay, so I'm going to tie this bow by making the loop and wrapping it round. That seems to be the best way to get this job done. And as always, there's going to be a bit of twiddling and faffing about with where how big the loops need to be. It's thick ribbon, so it does take, you know, you need to show it who's boss. You need to be quite forceful with it to make it sit the way you want it to. So I don't really want to take up too much time just messing about with the ribbon on the camera, but oh, that's fallen all right. There we go. Let's leave it like that, and then we'll snip off the ends. So as long as your tails are longer than your bow loops, it will look fine. And then cut it properly. Preferably. Could probably do with sharpening those scissors a little. Those are the ones I use for ribbon. So you can sort of fiddle about with that and kind of make it sit the way you need it to. Okay, it will fray a little bit, this one, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Okay, I'm just going to pop these little bits out of the way because I can just see my sleeve getting all tangled in that. Isn't it great? Oh, just love it. Sentiment is next. So I'm grabbing layering leaves, and do you know what? It completely passed me by that this is Rachel Tessman's $1 Million stamp set. Absolutely love it. I think it's really, really good. Keep reaching for it for lots of things. And the fact it goes with the barrel punch is amazing. So really like this one, and I love the swirly font. So I've picked out the Thinking of You from this one, and I'm going to use these dies. This is the Nested Essentials. Yes, Nested Essentials. Cool, right? So I did a background with this lovely shape, and like I say, I'm going to pick out this one. The next size down is a tad small for the sentiment, which is kind of a pity because it would fit nicer on the actual project, but it is what it is. So we've got our sentiment all die cut out with those lovely dies, and it gives you this lovely spotted, dotted, pierced, stitched background around the edge. Okay, but you may have noticed that on the original sample there's like a white border around there. Now you get that effect by inking through the die. Okay, so I'm just going to take off that low tack tape because that's going to get in the way, and we'll bring in, where did my grid paper go that I was, yeah, so really mucky grid paper, but it'll do for this. Okay, so I'm going to pop the die back over the top. It will just sit over the top. You'll feel it lock in. That's the only way I can describe it. You'll feel it. Okay, so that was with Mossy Meadow to bring in a contrasting colour. And then equally, what I want to do is just put some colour onto this. So I'm going to use the residual green ink on this brush, just to, like I say, take off that that whiteness and just give us that. And you can kind of intensify opposing corners, which kind of gives it a nice bit of, you know, dimension and that. So we're just going to go around this bottom corner as well. Okay, and then when you do that, the die sort of acts like a mask, and you get this really nice white border, which I think is super cool. You will want to get the residual ink off the die though, because that will transfer to card and stuff, and to your fingers apparently. Okay, so just make sure that that ink comes off before you put it away. So I'll do that, and then we just want some dimensionals. I've actually used minis for this because we want it to go sort of over the top of this ribbon. So I'm going to put 3 across the top and bottom there. There's a good press, and then take off the backs. A little bit, you can use the big ones, I just thought the, you know, the little ones would fit nicely. The backs on these ones are a little more stubborn. Okay, and then we can just slot this in nice and close up to that knot, which means you'll still see this flower at the bottom peeking out. But it's kind of straight. Okay, so there we go. What I realised was I hadn't put any embellies on there, so I was going to use these pastel adhesive sequins because we've got this sort of dull gold. It's not like a bright gold. They're kind of nice. And I'm going to use a pokey tool to get that off. This was gifted to me at our last craft retreat by the wonderful Pat James. She's at Pat's Quiet Place. That's where she is. So find her on Instagram and stuff. And she does have a blog. So yeah, she gifted one of these. Isn't it amazing, with this beautiful star on the top as well? So it's really nice weight in your hand. It just feels beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to add some to this one because I hadn't done already, and I think that's going to instantly transform this in and give it a bit of bling. Now I'm in an R in whether the pink ones are a bit much on this one, to be honest with you, or whether I just stick with the I don't know actually. I think the pink might actually look quite nice. Just go for it. So my little trio of sequins there, just to bring everything together. Okay, those can go into the packet so that they don't go walkies on the desk. She says you've not been able to get them into her packet. So those are the pastel adhesive backed sequins. Okay, and that is that card done. I think that has turned out so brilliant. I actually really love that that colour combo. That's amazing. So this one's a little bit more traditional, and then I had already made another sample just to see how it would look. I think I would do the centres a little differently next time, but I thought, could we apply this to Christmas? And so I brought in this sentiment's actually from Classic Christmas, and which dies did I use for that? That could have been the I think that was the Something Fancy dies that I actually used on that one. Got the Wild Wheat coming through on this one, so they're all using in colours to some degree. Sweet Sorbet and Cherry Cobbler were the colours I used on the flower, and actually went over the centre with more Cherry Cobbler and Copper Clay. So in real life it does come through, but I don't think it comes through so well on camera. Okay, but again, it was just sort of a play with some colours. The leaves are Parakeet Party and a hint of Shaded Spruce, just to darken it up a little bit. Okay, so that was a Christmas sort of idea, just so that you can see how that might work. But like I say, this is the traditional one, and I absolutely love how this one turned out. Okay, loads of ideas for you there. Okay, on how you can use these decorative masks. They are called Abundant Beauty. Yep, loads to work with, and great value for money. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. If you are interested in taking a look at anything a bit more closely, there are links in the description to the blog post for some more photos, and then there will be links to the items in the online store. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. I hope you're staying safe, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!